There it is, folks. All three walls are finished being painted. Now time to get started on other stuff. Get back with me on a sec. We'll show you what I'm about to do, or what I might be about to do. I don't know if I'm actually going to do it or not. This is what I plan on using to cut the men out of. And what I'll do is just draw out a figure here and then cut it out and kind of work from there. And let me do that and I'll get back with y'all. Here's what it's looking like so far, folks. That ain't the piece I'm going to use for the fire. I just got that sitting up there to see it. Pretty neat how it lights up most of it, everything in there. And then when they're sitting, you know, right here behind it, they'll be lit up too. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Alright, get back me on a bit. Hey folks, show y'all what I'm starting with on that block of wood. Let me get this back together here. Alright, I cut this out of here. Now this was all one piece, but anyways. And so basically that's what I got to work with, and then I'll take my Dremel and then carve out the rest into the shape of a human body. I did all that on my blade runner. Well, I cut it, the long piece off on my table saw, but did all of this kind of stuff here on the blade runner. Rockwell blade runner. And that's going to be Tony. And I know it don't look like much right now because I got to finish it. You know, I got to carve it out and be a man, but he's going to be sitting on a log like that. Well, it'll probably be that log. And he'll be sitting right back there. He'll be a lot smaller after I get them all carved out. You know, it'll be more human-like. But that's what I got going on for right now. Alright, we'll catch y'all later. Hey folks, I just want to show you how I'm doing this little guy here. I pretty much wing everything I do. You know, there's the part I cut off of him. This was And the chopped off arms, I'll put longer arms on them, but they'll be glued on. Alright, see, this part here ain't really so critical. I'm just rounding the butt off right here. So when he's sitting on the log like that, you won't see no square there. You know, I'm trying to make it look as real as possible. Alright folks, this is a test run what I'm doing here to make the arms. And I got plenty of these little pieces of wood. And to show Mike Ware, that thing I was telling you about I built for my wood, that thing right there, which takes up that whole corner. Show you the whole thing first. And what I basically did or wanted it for was to put all these little chips of wood, which I got everything piled up here right now. But see all them little pieces of wood? And I use stuff like that, you know, to make arms or just anything little that I need. I have all these little chips, little pieces of wood to do it with. And I made that compartment just to throw bigger chunks of wood. And then that down there holds a tub full of more big chunks of wood. And I try to keep special wood over here, like all of this is that red cedar I was telling you about, where I cut the hearts out of our cedar tree. And then just like this stuff back here, this is wood out of my attic, and this is all the way from 1920. I cut this off of the pieces of my attic, but that's 1920 wood. I got a lot of little chunks of these back here like that, you know, that I can use for whatever. Kind of makes things a little bit more special when you know, hey, this wood was used in 1920, so it's that old, you know. But and one time I had all this stuff up here sorted out where, like, this thing here, these are them cabinet doors here, and on this one here. But anyways, I'm about to use this is my Dremel saw. It's a scroll saw. It's very portable. It just clamps onto your workbench right there. Got a little handle here, and you could even take it off, you know, and use it handheld if you wanted to. But show y'all what I'm doing right now. Get this thing back up right here. Alright, this piece of wood, I done cut most of it out. You can see here where I cut it out like that. But this is going to be the arms. And all this was a little rectangle piece of wood, actually a piece that came off from where I was cutting a little man out. So I drew that like that. Now I'm going to cut that out. And like I said, this is a test run. I'm winging it. To fit right now. And then never mind the different colors, because he's all going to be painted. So, alright, we'll catch y'all in a bit.